So if you watched last week's video, you'll know that I said that I was looking to get a new camera system that I can use for wildlife, landscapes and macro photography. And in that video, I mentioned that I'd made a decision to go with the OM-1 Mark II from OMSYSTEM. Now, it's actually taken me about something like 10 months to come to this decision. So yeah, it's taken me a while to get to this point. Yeah, after that time and testing out some of OM's gear over the last few months or so, I think this fits my needs perfectly for what I intend to do going forward. Now, there are a few reasons for this, like the size, the weight, the autofocus, the ruggedness, the image stabilization. All of those things are really important for the kind of photography that I've got in mind. So this isn't replacing my usual setup. This is going to be, I guess, a separate kit. And in this video, I'm going to be trying out a few of these lenses in this incredible autumnal woodland to figure out which ones I'm going to actually go for. So, as you can see, I've got quite a few options on the table here. So we'll be taking a look at each one of those to see what they can offer. Now, I pretty much already decided on what I thought was the perfect camera and lens combo, which was these two. And looking at the spec sheets and already having tried these two out, the 12-40 and the 50-200 f2.8 Pro lenses, yeah, I pretty much settled on this setup. But then OMSYSTEM got in touch and asked me if I'd like to collaborate on this video, and they offered to send me a few other lenses as well so I could test them all properly and see if there was something that might actually suit me even better. Now, on top of that, they also mentioned there's a really good cashback deal running throughout October as well, so it kind of feels like the perfect time to test everything side by side and make a decision once and for all. So I've got here obviously the OM-1 Mark II, but I've got the 12-40 f2.8. I've also got this, which is the 40-150 f2.8. This one here, which is the 50-200 f2.8. And this one over here, which is the 100-400 f5.6 to 6.3. And I've also got a couple of teleconverters here as well, the 1.4 times and the 2 times. So yeah, we're going to be testing out to see which one of these lenses here, or two of these lenses here, I think is going to work for me going forward. This place is absolutely beautiful, really autumnal, absolutely fantastic. So I found a really nice old oak tree just here with some autumnal colour just behind it, which I think is going to be my first shot. And looking at it, I think it's probably going to suit the 40-150 lens because there's a little bit of sky at the top there, and if I back up a little bit and zoom in, I can probably exclude a lot of that sky and just keep the focus on the colour and the wonderful branches of the oak tree. So the 40-150 f2.8 is on, and I'm just going to shoot this handheld, mainly because I've got to keep my shutter speed up anyway because the foliage is all moving and I want to try and freeze that motion. So yeah, just a nice simple handheld frame to start off with. Nice, let's go and see if we can find something else. So there's a grouping of oak trees just here that I've shot a couple of years ago, and I've wanted to return in autumn to make an image here with better light than I had before. I didn't quite get the conditions right last time, or the amount of golden foliage. Maybe I'm a little bit too early, and the light as well is quite flat, but I am going to have a go at this curved oak tree. There's a nice little composition here that I think will work really well for the 12-40 lens. So yeah, I'm gonna get a shot set up, try and keep the bugs off me. Yeah, beautiful little grouping of trees here. Just need some light and some mist, I think, to really make it work, but we're gonna have a go anyway. So let's talk about the kit before we take these shots of these amazing oak trees. Now, I tested the OM-1 Mark II out a few weeks back in the bird hide there, shooting red kites, and it coped with it incredibly well. You know, birds in flight is one of the most challenging things for a camera to deal with, and it just coped with it incredibly well in quite flat conditions as well. So I was thoroughly impressed with the amount of keepers I got from that shoot, and I think that swayed my decision to go with the OM-1 Mark II. Now, of course, to go along with the body, I need a standard zoom lens, and I've decided to go with the 12-40 f2.8. I decided to go for the f2.8 version over the f4 version, mainly because I obviously do video work as well, so having a little bit more light in situations like, say I'm in my van or something like that where it's quite dark, having an f2.8 aperture is handy for that. If I was just shooting landscapes, for example, I'll probably go for the f4 version because it's a bit lighter. So at the minute, and until I think it's the 29th of October, OMSYSTEM have got a cashback deal on, like I mentioned earlier. And this bundle here, the OM-1 Mark II and the 12-40 f2.8, there is a £300 cashback, and you get a free battery grip as well. So that is definitely something to think about. There's a lot of other cashback deals on as well, which I'll talk about a little bit more later on in the video. But yeah, this is an incredible scene, and I think it's time we try to make an image here in this pretty flat light, but we'll see what we can do. So the leaves are falling, which is pretty incredible. But yeah, I've got a few thoughts I want to share about those two lenses in just a second, but I think it's time for a bite to eat. Yeah, I've got something special on the menu for lunch. So I genuinely don't know why I didn't think of the toasty maker sooner. So excited about this, a ham and cheese toasty. What could be better when you're in your van? Anyway, I guess it's super simple as well, isn't it? Like, no faff, a little bit of steam, but that's about it. Cooking smells are fairly minimal, and you get a hot meal. But anyway, we're not here to talk about toasties, are we? We're here to talk about this, the 40-150 f2.8. I really enjoyed using that back there. I thought it was excellent. The sharpness looked really good as well. And yeah, it's a continuation, isn't it, of the 12-40. So yeah, 12 right up to 150 millimeters. So yeah, really nice reach, all f2.8. I think they could work really well together. However, I feel like I would probably be using a teleconverter a lot if I was using this lens for wildlife photography. And for that reason, I think it's probably not right for what I'm looking for right now. I think a longer reach would be better suited. So yeah, I think if I was just shooting landscapes, this would be an excellent addition to the kit bag. Great for videography as well with the f2.8. I guess if you wanted to maybe keep your pack a little bit lighter as well, I think there's an f4 version, which is a lot smaller and a lot lighter as well. But a lovely lens, really nice, but I don't think it quite suits my ideas I've got going forward, but it's definitely a contender. But anyway, really looking forward to trying out the other two side by side as well and seeing what they can come up with. But first, we've got to eat this toasty. Let's have a look at it. The good thing about this is you get a hot meal, and I use 2%, only 2% of my battery capacity. So yeah, that is super efficient. So I think it's a really good way of getting a hot meal with very little effort and yeah, very little energy usage, which is obviously great if you're on a, you know, multi-day sort of camping hike and you need to conserve some battery. Anyway, enough of the waffle. Let's get back out there and try out these longer telephoto lenses. So next up I want to try out this lens, the 100 to 400mm f5 to 6.3, and to me this feels more like a dedicated wildlife lens. I mean, we're talking 200 to 800mm equivalent field of view in full frame terms here, which is pretty long, and it should be able to get us quite close to the wildlife, which is exactly what I'm going to try and do next. Now, this lens has optical image stabilization built into the lens, which works in conjunction with the body's stabilization in the OM-1 Mark II. So I'm really keen to see how that works out. I'm also keen to compare this to the 50 to 200 f2.8 alongside the teleconverters as well, to see how the two compare in terms of performance. So let's go and see if we can find some birds. So there's something really relaxing, isn't there, about sitting by water, watching wildlife. I've really enjoyed myself over the last hour or so, but the sun has broken, which is absolutely fantastic for the first time today. And all of a sudden, everything's come alive. All the cormorants have started fishing. We've had oyster catchers coming into the scene a bit more. We've had a curlew as well, which has been really nice. We're a little bit too far away to get really close-up shots, but I think I've got some environmental shots of them, especially with the cormorants sunning themselves just as that sun broke. So that was quite nice. Their iridescent, shiny feathers look absolutely fantastic in this raking low angle of light that we've got now in the evening. Probably not quite as close as I'd like to get, but I'm getting some really nice results, I think, with the 2x converter on this 50 to 200. Yeah. Really enjoy myself. A well-deserved cup of tea. So I thoroughly enjoyed that 5 minutes of light that we got there, and literally that is the only light that we've had all day, but I've thoroughly enjoyed today. It's been absolutely incredible being out here in the autumnal woodland and then watching those cormorants, curlew and oyster catchers there. All three of these telephoto zoom lenses have definitely got their place, and I think they're all capable of capturing amazing images. Each one just offers something a little bit different, really. It's about figuring out, I guess, which one best suits the type of shots that I want to take going forward. Now, if you're interested in any of these telephoto lenses, make sure to check out the cashback deals OMSYSTEM have running through October. There's £200 cashback on the 4150 and 100 to 400, plus 300 on the OM-1 Mark II, and you also get that free grip as well. There are plenty of other offers available as well, and you can find all of the details in the link in the video description. Also, if you purchase either of the white lenses, the 50 to 200 or the 150-400 lens, you'll be in with a chance to win a safari trip to Namibia as well, which is definitely worth checking out. Again, all the info for that is down in the link below. Anyway, I'm going to do some pondering and hopefully make a decision very, very soon. Please do let me know your thoughts in the comments. You know, if you've got any advice or tips that might help my decision making, then that would be much appreciated as well. So yeah, please do leave a comment below. If you enjoyed this video, you might also like the one that is up here. And over on the other side, you'll find a link to my membership site, the Photographer's Clubhouse. Over there, we've got, members galleries, editing sessions and lots more. It's a bit like Patreon, where you can help support the channel as well. So thanks in advance for going to check that out. Your support really does go a long way and helps me to make these types of videos. Thanks so much for watching. Take care and hope to see you again next week.